I don't think I could have said nicer things about The Dark Knight Returns Part 1, and now the time has come to deliver the animated conclusion to one of the most beloved and influential Batman stories ever told. Now, Part 1 got off pretty easy. It was a straightforward battle between Batman and the mutants. Part 2 is where things start to get crazy, and where the movie could really have dropped the ball if they weren't careful. The film hits the ground running with a quick recap of events of Part 1. Batman beat the mutant leader, but now all the gang members are vying for control of Gotham City. Batman and the new Robin, Carrie Kelly, have to use all their strength and wits to keep the city from falling back into chaos. Compounding matters is, of course, the Joker, voiced by the great Michael Emerson of Lost fame, who has returned to make Batman's life hell and play one last killer joke before it's all over. Much like Batman, the Joker is a character that casts a long shadow, and not just anybody can fill his special clown shoes. Well, I'm happy to say Emerson turns in an amazing performance, right up there with DiMaggio and Hamill. The Dark Knight Returns Part 2 is of course something of an 80s time capsule, and when Batman breaks the law by returning to vigilantism, he'll have to contend with none other than President Ronald Reagan and his personal attack dog, Superman. Batman will be forced to overcome his former friend and ally if he wants to survive in this brave new world order left in the wake of the Cold War. Mark Valley of Human Target and Harry's Law fame has the role of Superman, and he manages to infuse this not often seen version of Superman with all the necessary depth and complexity we've come to expect. So the acting is great, but what about the action, you might be asking? Well, it's positively explosive. In some cases, fight scenes have been expanded on from the comic counterpart and made even bigger and louder. But I think the thing that amazes me most isn't the stuff that they changed, it's actually the stuff they kept. Remember Bruno, the swastika boobs lady from the comics? Yeah, well, she's in the movie too. And of course, as with Part 1, this is a much more bloody Batman movie than we've ever seen before, complete with the Joker getting up to some pretty cruel and brutal stuff whenever he's on screen. And hey, you remember the famous David Letterman scene from the comic? Well, it's pretty much in here too, now only the difference is that the talk show host is voiced by Conan O'Brien. Now that's clever and funny. It should also be noted while the Part 1 DVD was lacking in special features, Part 2 comes loaded with all the great behind-the-scenes, documentaries, and specials that you've come to know and love from Bruce Timm and company. In the end, I really can't heap enough love on this movie. It's easily one of the most ambitious Batman movies ever made, in animation or live action for that matter. If you love The Dark Knight Detective, if you love Gotham City and all the colorful collections of weirdos that call it home, then you owe yourself to pick up The Dark Knight Returns Part 2.
Tonight, we are the law.